Hey guys, welcome back to Homestead Wish. My name is Candace, if you're new around here. Today I figured we'd make like more of a traditional Easter dessert, and we're gonna be doing a chocolate carrot cake. So stick around and let's get started. Okay, the first thing I've done is preheat my oven to 350 degrees. I have two 9-inch cake pans that I've greased, and I put a piece of parchment on the bottom. We're just gonna set those aside for now. I'm using my stand mixer today, but you don't have to use one of these. You can use a hand mixer if you want. First things first, we had to grate up 3 cups of carrots. So I did that yesterday and just popped this in my refrigerator. And I use my KitchenAid for this, and it took no time at all. So if you have a KitchenAid, I highly recommend using it to shred things. It makes quick work of that. So we're just adding it all into our stand mixer. We have 2 cups of sugar that's going to go right in. Four large eggs. And then 1 1/4 cups of oil. So I have vegetable oil here. You can use any neutral oil for this. And that's quite a bit of oil, right? A whole 1 1/4 cups in there. All right, so we're just gonna mix this until it all comes together. Okay, next to our mixer, we're gonna add a 1/2 cup of cocoa powder. And in here, I have 2 cups of all-purpose flour, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, and a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And we're just gonna mix that right in. Let me make sure I'm not forgetting anything, because this seems kind of quick and easy, but I know this is a quick and easy recipe. Yeah. Okay, not forgetting nothing. So we're just gonna mix this on low speed for now so we don't have an explosion of ingredients. There we go, it's starting to come together. All right. I think that's good. I'm going to take this off of the stand mixer, and then we're going to get it into our cake pans. Okay, so into my 9-inch cake pans, the batter goes. I'm going to try and get it as evenly into each one as I can. If you have a kitchen scale and you want to weigh the pans out to see if they're evenly spread, to see if the dough is evenly spread between the two, you certainly could do that. I got a little bit more, but I think this pan is a little bit less in it. Actually, I'm going to add the rest to this one. And these go in the oven for anywhere from 25 to 30 minutes until a toothpick inserted in the center comes out clean. Okay guys, my cakes have been in the oven for 25 minutes, and I just want to show you how I check to see if it's done in the middle. So you just take a toothpick, you put it right in the middle of the cake, all the way down to the bottom, and then you pull it back out. This is not done. See all that batter that's on the toothpick? So I'm going to put this back into the oven for another 5 minutes, and then we're going to check it at that point. All right, guys, take 2. These have been in the oven for 30 minutes. I'm going to check, do the toothpick test. I'm going to do the toothpick test again and see if they're done. Not quite. See, we still got quite a bit of cake on our toothpick. So I'm going to put it in maybe for another 3 minutes and check it at that point. Okay, it's been another 3 minutes. I'm going to check the inside of the cake one final time. I'm pretty sure these are done. If you see a few little crumbs on your toothpick, that's fine. You just don't want to see raw cake batter. Like, I'm okay with this. It's just crumbs. It's not raw. So I'm going to let these cool in the pan for about 10 minutes. Then I'm going to flip them out of the pan onto a wire rack and let them cool to room temperature. And in the meantime, we're going to make our frosting. While our cakes are cooling behind me on the wire rack, we're going to start on our frosting. So it's a chocolate cream cheese frosting, and it's really simple. The first thing we start with is 1 stick of butter and 1 8-ounce package of cream cheese. And we're just going to add that to our stand mixer and cream those together until they're nice and smooth. I'm just going to stop this for a second and scrape down the sides of my bowl. And remember, guys, you want to get this nice and smooth. You don't want any lumps of cream cheese or butter in your beautiful frosting. So I'm going to let this go another minute or so. Okay, one more scrape down. This is looking nice and smooth now. I think we could start adding the rest of our ingredients to this. And there's not many. So the first thing I'm going to add is 1/4 cup of cocoa powder and 3 teaspoons of vanilla extract. And then I'm just going to let that mix for a minute, and then we'll add in the rest of our powdered sugar. And then our frosting is pretty much done. All right, here we go. All right, that's mostly incorporated. So now I'm going to add in our powdered sugar. And this is a lot. It's 3 3/4 cups of powdered sugar. But I've read the reviews, and it said that this recipe for frosting makes a ton of frosting. All right, we're going to start off slow with this so we don't have another flour explosion, or in this case, powdered sugar explosion. Oh my goodness, come on. Okay, it's starting to come together. Just going to let this mix for a few minutes. Make sure there's no clumps or anything in it. All right, I'm calling this done. That looks delicious. It's nice and smooth and creamy. Now we just have to wait for our cakes to cool completely. If you frosted them while they were still warm, you would melt your frosting and you'd end up with a big soupy mess. So we're going to wait, who knows, maybe an hour, maybe 2, to have our cakes come up to room temperature, and then we're going to frost and decorate. So far, this has been a super easy recipe, you guys. Our cakes have now come to room temperature, so now we're going to frost these beauties. So first things first, I'm just going to put a little dollop of our frosting on our cake plate. This will help keep our cakes in place once we put them on the cake plate. I'm just going to take a layer and I'm going to place it on the cake plate. And I'm going to start filling the middle layer with the frosting. I'd say do about half of the frosting in the middle. That's about it. And turn your cake plate to help you with the frosting. Just smooth it out. And if you had an offset spatula, that would help a little bit with this part, but I don't, or I do, but I don't know where it is. I know I used to have one somewhere. All right. I want a little bit more around the edges. I want you to be able to see the frosting peeking through the sides of the cake when you put the second layer on. All right, there we go. That's perfect. I'm going to place our second layer on top of the first. There we go. That looks beautiful already. And now I'm just going to top with the remaining frosting. Get it all piled on there. Now we're just going to smooth out the frosting on the top layer. You can make pretty little swirl designs in it if you want. Anything that floats your boat, really. This is your cake. You make it how you want to make it. I'm just putting little swirlies in the top. I think that's good. You can make this as simple or as fancy as you like. I'm going with simple today. I'm going to decorate the top of my cake with just some semi-sweet chocolate chips and sprinkles. But you can do nuts if you like. Anything really. Like I said, this is customizable to whatever you enjoy. But I think this is going to be beautiful when it is finished. That's maybe about 1/4 cup of chocolate chips. And I have some Easter sprinkles. Oh, that looks cute already. And this cake was so simple to make. I thought I was missing ingredients because it was just that easy. All right, guys, that is it. There we have it. Our Easter chocolate carrot cake. It looks beautiful. Here, see? I can't wait for my son to try this. I started this morning as he was going to school, and he's like, "What are you making today, Mom?" I'm like, "Carrot cake." And he's never had carrot cake before. So he's like, "What's carrot cake?" I'm like, it doesn't taste like carrots. It just has carrots in the batter to keep the batter moist, or to keep the cake moist, I should say. And he's like, I don't know if I'm going to like it. I'm like, well, I'll cut you a piece when you get home, and you can tell me if you like it or not. So maybe I'll get him on camera later when he gets home from school, and we'll see his reaction to this. But if I don't, I'm glad that you joined me today. I hope you give this recipe a try. I'll put the recipe in the description box below for you guys. And like I said, this was super simple to make, and it looks delicious. So thanks for joining me today. I hope you have a great day. I'll see y'all on the next one. Take care.